noticing our hips. We might be leaning forward with them, we might be rocking back. Can we get nice and settled? And from there, build the rest of our body. Our hands can come face down on our knees. We can bring our OK symbol with our index finger and thumbs, and our chins tuck as the crowns of our heads rise. I'm already leaning forward, thinking, what are we going to do in our practice today? Can you find balance in those hips, in that sacrum, that pelvic bowl? And from there, begin to cultivate a deep and steady breath. Breathing in and exhale. Lifting through the crown of our head, noticing if you're straining forward, if you're rocking back, get settled. Use that breath to center the mind, to get on your mat. Inhale and exhale. Breathing in, one more breath, and let it all go. Open those eyes, and I invite you to come all the way up to standing. So just bring yourself up to standing, locate your feet on the floor, really solidly. Bring your hands to your waist and tuck your chin. From there, inhale your right knee up, and imagine you're stepping over a gate and rocking to the back. Then we go from the back and bring it forward. One more time, inhale, lift, and exhale to the back, and then bring it from the back up to the front, other side. So we inhale, lift that left leg, and bring it to the back. Try not to use momentum. Inhale, we lift, and then we come forward. We inhale, rise, exhale, tap it down, inhale, lift, and exhale, tap, walk it out. So ground down through that left foot, inhale, lift the right knee. Now swing that leg open and try and lift your left arm. Your chin is going to tuck towards your ceiling, maybe lift your right arm. So we're starting out with some balance. We're trying to maybe work those hips, kind of get some motion in there before we do some real work and then some stretch. That's what we'll want to get to. One more breath in, and then we bring our hands to our heart and our chin to our chest. Get nice and settled. Bring your hands to your waist, ground down through that right foot. We lift that left knee, swing it out to the side. Your right arm lifts. We move mindfully, intentionally. Maybe lift that left arm. And by doing that, we create more balance. We create more control, and the good kind of control. We're not flailing. So we're moving intentionally. One more breath in. Then bring your hands to your waist and the foot to the earth. From there, bring your feet about hip width apart. And let's inhale, scoop down and reach all the way up. And exhale, open your hands to your sides. Inhale, we scoop, reaching on up and bring our hands down to our sides. Inhale, trace those fingers on the floor, then we rise, circling back. Last time we trace those fingers, we lift on up and we circle to the back and we shake it out. Bring those feet together. Let's inhale, lift those arms up overhead, and we exhale, tip ourselves forward. Inhale, the heart extends, and exhale, step that right foot back and drop to your right knee. Climb up on your left foot or left knee and bend into that left knee, lifting through your heart. Keep your hands on that left knee for this time. So we lift through the heart, sink in those hips. Inhale, one more breath. Exhale, plant those hands, tuck the back toe, and step that foot forward. Inhale, extend through those hearts. Now take a big step back and drop that left knee. We climb on up on that right leg and we bend into that right knee, lifting through our hearts. So it's often about opposing motions. The hips sink as the heart lifts, and there is so much to have our heart lifting. There really is. Sometimes we get so heavy and burdened, and I get it. But we can lift those hearts. We can make that choice. One more breath in. Plant those hands. Let's step that left foot forward. Inhale, our hearts extend. And exhale, we fold over those legs. Now reverse that. Inhale, we come back up to standing, arms up overhead, and bring our hands to our hearts and chin to our chest. All right, inhale, we sweep on up. Exhale, we come on forward. Now bend your left knee, and you can take your right leg and bring it forward. So your right heel comes to the earth, and our feet are flexed. So that left knee is bent, and we're straightening our spine over that right leg. Now, we're going to do some scoops. So we inhale, lift our arms up and rise, and swing our hands back to the earth like we were doing before. So inhale, our fingers brush the earth, and we come on up, and we circle to the back. Inhale, we rise, and come back to the earth. You can grab that right foot and step it back. Now bend into that right knee, take your left hand, bring your left heel forward, your fingertips come to the earth, those left toes peel up. Inhale, we lift our arms up, and this is a balance pose too. And we bring those hands back to the earth. Inhale, we sweep on up, and exhale, bring those hands to the earth. Inhale, we lift. Bring your hands back to the earth. You can take that left leg and bring left foot beside right. Inhale, those hearts extend. Exhale, plant those hands, either stepping or hopping back to plank. So from here, take your right foot off your mat. And so you're gonna step nice and wide off your mat and let those hips sink as you start to lift through your heart. So you'll notice that your left hand gets lighter than your right. Try and stay really equally balanced in those, letting those hips drop. You could even come up on your fingertips. One more breath in. Plant those hands, step that right foot back, and now your left foot steps off the mat. Turn out those toes, heels sink, heart lifts. And you can come onto those fingertips if you would like. Try and stay straight through that right leg. Breathing, inhale. Oh, life is good, exhale. Last breath in before we plant those hands and we step back into our downward facing dog. So coming into down dog, you can lift one heel, then the other. You can do whatever you need to add a little extra movement to open up the posture a little bit. Make sure the body is ready for it. We can come up on those toes, lower those heels. One more breath in. Exhale. We'll inhale, lift our right leg up to the sky, bend that knee, and stack our right hip over our left. Taking one breath in before we step through into a high lunge. So we stay high on that back heel, and toes and knee is up. We lift those arms up. Interlace those fingers, bring them behind your head, bend into the front knee, and lift through your upper body. So now we're stretching out the front of that left hip. We're working the right hip. We're bending into that right knee. Oh, again, those hearts can lift. And sometimes we have to make that a choice, and I get that. But can we make that choice today? Lift our hearts, unburden them. One more breath, and then we bring our hands to the floor. You decide down dog or vinyasa. And we inhale, lift our bodies, And we exhale, come on back to our downward facing dog. So from here, taking one deep inhale and letting it all go. Then we'll inhale, lift that left leg, bend the left knee and stack the left hip over right, equally grounded in those hands, heart pressing gently to the back of the mat. Inhale before we swing the left foot through our hands and rise on up. Bend, interlace, clasp the back of your head, sink as you open. And I often think about verbs. Verbs are important. They dictate how we do things, how we think about things. So moving into the beautiful verbs, open, rise, root, shine. Those are the verbs we want to chase. And we can drop our hips, lift our hearts, last breath in. Then we plant those hands and we'll step on back. Bring your knees to the edges of your mat and your toes to touch. So sink yourself on back into child's pose with wide knees. So here, your hips are moving towards your heels. As your arms reach toward the front of your mat, your forehead comes to the earth. And from there, feel supported. Opening in those hips as they grow heavy. Your shoulders also open. One more breath in. And exhale, we come back up. We'll tuck those toes and press ourselves back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step it between your hands and keep that back knee and heel lifted once again. You plant your left hand and now your right arm reaches forward. And so you're trying to reach forward into your life. Hello, nice to meet you. Let's see what happens next. And we open and meet it with curiosity and wonder, even in this time of uncertainty. Inhale, one more breath. And we plant that right hand and you can step back, down dog or vinyasa. We press and rise, upward facing dog, and we come on back, downward facing dog. Taking a deep inhale, letting it go, really creating a full form in your down dog. One more breath in. Let's exhale. We'll inhale, lift the left leg and step it through, keeping a high lunge or a lunge with our legs. Your right hand plants this time, and now your left arm reaches forward. The back of your neck is nice and long. So you're pressing back through the right heel, reaching through those left arms. Inhale, one more breath in before we plant that hand and either down dog or vinyasa. Those elbows can brush the ribs. We press into the floor and lift again in the heart. And then we come on back, downward facing dog. Look up at your hands and we'll either step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, our hearts lift. And exhale, we fold. Inhale, we sweep those arms up and overhead. And then we bring our hands to our hearts and chin to our chest. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, we bow. Inhale, heart lifts. And let's step or hop back into plank, knees up or down as we move through chaturanga. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, returning to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that right leg to the sky. Exhale, we step it between the hands and come into warrior two. So we windmill those arms up. We bend into that front knee. We extend our arms nice and straight. So you can stay just in down dog or in warrior two, or inhale, bring your right fingertips toward that right foot, and exhale, come back up. Inhale, slowly reach those hands down. And exhale, come back up. 3 more times. Inhale, we lower. And exhale, we rise. Inhale, lower. And we lift. 1 more time. You've got it in you. Inhale, we lower. And we come back up. Then we frame that front foot, either stepping back, down dog, or a vinyasa. We lift through our hearts. We come back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg. We step it between our hands and lower that right heel, windmilling those arms, coming up into warrior 2. Bending to that left knee, arms nice and straight. And now we move. So we inhale, drop those left fingertips to the earth, and exhale, we come up. Inhale, we lower, and exhale, we rise. Inhale, lower. We lift 2 more times. We lower the hands. We rise back up. And last time, we touch that earth, and we lift before we bring the hands to frame that front foot, down dog or vinyasa. And we lift through our hearts, and we press on back. So look up at your hands, and you can step or hop to the front of the mat, and then sit yourself on down. Bring the soles of your feet together, and we lift on up. So you can stay here. You can come forward, bringing your elbows to those knees. You can open those feet like pages of a book. So coming into bound angle. We usually do this at the end of practice, but we're slipping it in here to open up those hips, to remember that we can release that tension with mindfulness, with breath, with these postures. So we just let go. We don't need to hold that anymore. We open, we settle. 1 more breath in before we come back up. Come onto your hands and your knees and step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. So inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step it through and come into side angle. So that can mean right elbow on the knee or right hand to the floor as you lift your left arm to the sky. So your hips want to go to the right edge of your mat. They want to pop out. Can you bring them under and then open through your chest? That's going to get into those hips a little bit more juicily. And we breathe. We extend, growing straight through that left leg, through the crown of our head. 1 more breath in. Now bring both hands to the earth and walk them out on a diagonal. Oh, juicy Lucy posture. So bend into that right knee. Now the hips can go back. So they lift and go back as your heart drops. 1 more breath in before we frame that front foot, stepping back, down dog or vinyasa. You decide. We lift through our upper bodies and we return downward facing dog. Just check in with those feet to make sure they're parallel. 1 more breath in. Let's exhale. Inhale, lift the left leg, stepping it between our hands. We lower the right heel, and now your right arm can come to left elbow can come to your left knee or to the floor as we lift that arm up. Feel what it's like to let those hips swing back to the left side of your mat. Then feel what it's like to tuck them under, and from there, open through your heart. We breathe, we settle, we extend through our entire body. We're breathing. 1 more breath in, and we lower that right hand to the earth, We walk those hands out on a diagonal. Now lift those hips like you're gonna bump the ceiling and lower that heart so it's like you're melting. The back of the body is simply soft, supple, bending into that left knee, planting through the right foot. Last breath in. Walk those hands back in. We face the front of our mat, stepping back either down dog or a vinyasa. And we lift in our hearts and we exhale, come back, downward facing dog. So look up at your hands and we'll either step or hop to the front of the mat. We inhale our hearts long and we exhale, fold over those legs. Inhale, we sweep and come on up. And we bring our hands to our hearts and our chins to our chest. So we'll come into standing figure 4. We ground down through that right foot. Imagine a root growing into the earth. We inhale, lift our left knee. We cross that ankle over, flexing through that foot, and we sit back and down. Now, before we go deeper into the pose, you can keep your hands on your waist. Notice I'm already tipsy. Those arms can come out to the sides. And so we're holding in airplane arms, flex through the left foot. Your heart can move forward and down. Stay there. You can bring your hands to your heart, to that front leg, to the right shin, or to the floor. So now going into your full figure 4 pose. Those hips drop, we flex in that left foot. That neck is nice and long. Inhale and exhale. Bringing your hands back to your waist, we rise on up and walk it out. Other side. We plant through that left foot and we lift through that right leg. Flexing through the right foot, we cross it over. We sit the hips back and down, staying flexed in that right foot. So now, can your hands come out and you balance? And you look at a focal point, a drishti, to keep yourself rooted, to keep yourself steady. Inhale. Then bring your hands to your heart, to that right leg, or somewhere to the left leg or the floor. Moving, as I said, with intention helps us to stay safe. It helps us to be more balanced, more in charge of what is happening to our body and the way we make our way through the world. One more breath in. Bring your hands back to your waist and build yourself back up and walk it out. So ground down through that right foot. We're going to lift that left knee, interlace those fingers, and try and bring that left knee up towards your left shoulder. See if you can grow straight through the right leg. We lift through the crown of the head. We inhale and exhale. Slowly release. Now bring that leg behind you, and you can just stay here. Maybe both arms could come up and you could hold. Or you can grab that left ankle and point that left knee toward the floor. Then your right arm can rise. So now we're stretching out the quads, the front of the hips. You can always begin to bend forward if you would like and try balancing in dancer. So we're lifting, breathing. One more breath in. And we rise back up and walk it out. Left foot grounds. And we really, really grow solid before we lift lightly through that right leg. Try and interlace your fingers the weird way. We pull the right knee toward our chest. Grow straight through that left leg. The crown of the head reaching toward the clouds. We inhale and exhale. Last breath. Before we release, swing that leg behind you. Your arms can just reach and you hold, or take that right hand to the right ankle and we lift that left arm, staying there with your right knee pointed down. Or if you would like, you can come on forward into dancer's pose. And notice this is a challenge, and one side might be easier than the other. Inhale and exhale, come back up and walk it out. Plant through the left foot, and let's do this instead. Bring the heel into the arch of your left foot, so right heel in the arch. We turn to face the right leg. We inhale, lift those arms up. You can bend your knees if you would like, and you come over. Your hands could come to your upper thigh, to that shin, or down to the floor. So we press into those feet to lift through that belly button. You're trying to line up your heart with that right knee, really feeling that stretch. Inhale, and let's exhale. Now let's just walk to the other side. So we'll bring our hands to the front of the mat, our feet turn parallel. Now we'll tuck that left heel in the right instep, and we'll turn to the other side. And you can always be up here doing that as well. So figure out your posture, your knees can be bent, and we breathe as we press and really trying to line up that heart with the left knee, and we bow. One more breath in. Let's come back to center. So step your feet to the edges of your mat, your toes turn out, heels turn in, bend those knees. Your hands or elbows can come to your knees, your hands to prayer, or you can come on down into Malasana. And we stretch. Lift through the spine. Feel those feet settle wherever you are. If you're up a little higher, you can be moving those shoulders if you would like, making whatever moves feel really delicious to you. One more breath in before we plant those hands and we lift in those hips. We turn those feet in, bring your hands to your waist, and build yourself back up. So now step your right foot back, and we face the long edge of our mat. So we inhale, lift through our hearts, and exhale, we tip ourselves forward. So take your left hand and plant it under your face, and your right arm lifts toward the ceiling. And it's like you have a tray on your hips, so you're really trying to keep the hips equal as you open and twist through your upper body. Pressing into that left hand, one more breath in before the right hand plants, and now that left arm lifts. Check in with those hips, make sure they're as even as possible. Can you press evenly into your feet? Spine extends, inhale. Bring that hand back to the earth. Walk those arms out. So now it's a wide-legged down dog. Our hearts are moving toward the earth. See if you can grow long through the spine and the neck. Lift in the hips. Imagine you're trying to rip the mat apart with your feet. So pressure, beautiful pressure into those feet. Last breath in. Walk those hands in. Turn your left toes out and bend that left knee and walk toward your left knee. So now make an okay sign with your fingers, and your right hand reaches back toward that right foot, and the left arm reaches up toward the ceiling. And you can look toward that back foot then. So we're bending into the left knee, the left arm is rising, the right arm is reaching for that back right foot. One more breath in. Exhale, bring your hands to the earth, walk yourself to the other end. So your right toes turn out, you bend into that knee, and now you make the okay symbol. The left hand goes toward the left foot, The right arm reaches up. You can look at that right hand, make sure it's nice and lifted. Then turn your gaze in the direction of that left hand. Bend into that right knee. Our hearts are nice and extended. We're settling those hips. Last breath in. Bring those hands to the earth. Walk once again toward that left foot. The left toes turn out. Plant both of your hands, and you can lower your heart toward those hands. Breathing, bending into that left knee, planted through that right foot. One last breath. Come back to center. Now those left toes turn in, right toes turn out. We bend that right knee, we plant those hands inside that right foot, and we try and move our heart between those hands. Bending into that knee, grounded in that left foot. Breathing, inhale and exhale. Last breath before we come back to center. Now, you could take either one of those other two postures or come into Skandasana. So those left toes turn out, the right toes lift. We sink those hips and bring our hands to our hearts. Lifting through the spine as those hips sink toward the earth. If you're in Skandasana, one more breath in. We plant those hands and we walk ourselves to the other side. So right toes turn out, left toes lift. We bend into that knee, or you take one of those other two postures and we bring our hands to our hearts. And I just love the word Skandasana. So here we are, seeing what we can do. Whatever posture you're in, we're getting into those hips, sweet hips. Last breath in. We plant those hands and we come back to center. And now face the front of your mat. So come to the front of your mat. Step that front leg back and come onto your hands and your knees. So from here, let's extend that right leg behind us and the left arm in front of us. You can stay in this posture or bend that right knee, swing that left hand back and maybe grab the right ankle, and now turn it into a bit of a back bend. Feeling the right hand on the earth. We extend wherever we are, whatever posture we're in. Last breath. If you have the bind, gently release it. Lower that left hand to the mat. We're going to extend that left heel behind us now. The right arm reaches, staying with that length, or bending the left knee, grabbing the left ankle with the right hand, and pressing the foot into that hand. Breathing, opening, last inhale. And we release. Lower the right hand to the mat, the left knee to the mat. Let's go ahead and step that right foot outside the hands. So it's outside the right hand. And now, once again, bring the crown of your head toward the floor. So we're lowering that head. You can always bring that right arm behind that right calf and lower your head. If you want to tuck those back toes for a little more stability, feel free to do that. Inhale and exhale. Try and bend into the right knee. Last breath before we come back up. We step that right knee back. Now we step that left foot forward and we lower the crown of the head toward the floor. The left arm can snake behind that left calf. We can try and bring the head toward that left ankle. Those right toes can tuck under if that gives you a little more stability. Lift your belly button towards your spine. Last breath. Undo. And we'll step that left foot back. Cross those ankles behind us and sit on our bum. So from here, plant your left foot and take your fingers and have them pointing towards your bum on the floor. Bring your right ankle on top of that left knee. So this is figure 4 just on the floor. You can start to sit up. The more you sit up, the more you're going to feel it in that right hip. Then you could always bring your hands to that left shin. We're flexing in the right toes. Stay relaxed in those shoulders. We lift, inhale, exhale, stay soft, last breath in. Before we release that, bring the hands back to the earth if they were lifted. Now your right foot can plant, and you can have it farther away from you. To start, we cross that left ankle over. Just sitting up is already a hip stretch as long as those left toes are flexed. But you can step that foot in. Notice how much deeper it gets, and maybe then you can grab the right shin, and we sit up tall. All kinds of different places to stay, to see what happens as we explore with the breath. One more inhale, and let's release, and bring the soles of your feet together, this time farther away from you. We sit up tall, then pour forward from that pelvis. Your arms can rest on those legs. You can bring the arms under your legs so you tap the tops of those feet. And we bow on into tortoise pose. And we've done a lot of opening with these hips. And the hips, they do a lot of work for us. And they store things. They store memories, they store tension, they store injuries and use. So this is a way to get in there and maybe try and offer some gifts to these sweet hips of ours. Let's inhale, one more breath. Exhale, we come back up. And now extend those legs. Move the flesh out of the way. We'll inhale, lift through our arms. You can bend those knees if your low back is a little twitchy. And come on forward into a forward fold. So those knees can be bent and you can be holding your shins, your ankles. So finding a forward fold that works for you. If this doesn't work, the legs can be wide. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. You can move the neck from side to side. Maybe even bringing your chin from one shoulder to the other. Inhale, one more breath, nice and long. Exhale, we rise. Bring the soles of your feet to the earth. Point those fingers towards your bum once again and lift on up. So the hips lift, the head can drop back just to look at the ceiling. We don't drop it any further back than that. Inhale. And exhale, let's lower on down. So come on to your backs, and we're going to keep your left knee bent and sole of the foot on the floor. Bring that right knee in, straighten the right leg, and you can keep your body on the floor or lift your upper body up, and that left leg can extend. So now we're getting into the hamstrings as well as those hips. You can always grab your ankle, your foot, if you have it. Inhale and exhale. Taking one more breath in and lowering everything down. Bend that right knee a little bit and swing it out to the right. Your left hand can come to your left hip and you look away from you. And so your knee can be bent, you can be holding your ankle from the inside, from the outside, so whatever is going to work for you. You can also straighten through that leg if you have it. Trying to stay heavy through the left side of your body, you can flex through that left foot. Inhale. Exhale. exhale, bend your right knee, bring that leg back up. Now bring that leg across your body as the right arm reaches away from you. So right knee can stay bent, or you can straighten that leg. You'll feel that on the outer right hip, the straighter and higher that leg goes. Finding a posture that really is going to open you up in a great way in these twists. Letting that breath come deep into your belly, right arm reaching away. You can look in the direction of your right hand. One more breath in. Exhale, we release. Come onto your back once again. Now the right sole of the foot plants as that right knee is bends. Bring that left bent knee in. Take your hamstring. Straighten that left leg. Lift your upper body. You can climb up that leg if you have it. Climb up the left leg. Extend your right leg. And we are long through that left leg. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath in. Lower yourself down. Bend that left knee. Swing the leg out to the side. Your right arm could come to your hip. You could look to your right. You could always straighten through that left leg if you have it. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Bend that left knee, bring it back up. The left leg comes across your body. You can keep it bent as your left arm reaches away. You can try and straighten that left leg. You can go for grabbing your shin, your ankle, or the outer left foot. Feeling supported along the right side of your body. Noticing how that twist massages your organs. Last breath. Exhale, we release. Come into happy baby. So you're on your back, grabbing either your shins, ankles, or the outsides of those feet, letting those knees drop. Inhale. And exhale. Last breath in before we release into Shavasana. So we relax the body, taking your rest. That can mean soles of the feet on the floor or together or legs long. Being supported by the earth. Letting the body absorb all of the work you just did. May you hold on to your center. May the light inside you shine. May you hold on to your center. May the light inside you shine. May you hold on to your center. May the light inside you shine. May you hold on to your center. May the light inside you shine. Now I invite you to wiggle your fingers and your toes, to move those hands and feet. bring those arms up overhead, taking a long stretch, returning to your beautiful body, open, spacious. Roll on to your right side, and with those eyes closed, make your way back to a seated posture. And I invite you to keep those eyes closed, ground down through those sitting bones, rise through the crown of your head. And now, bring your palms to prayer at your heart. Your thumbs can touch your heart, shoulders relaxed, chin drops. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be free from fear. May you let go of the tension that you carry around. May you move mindfully. May you remain spacious. And may that heart of yours stay wide open. And may that light inside shine brightly. Inhale deeply. Exhale through an open mouth. Inhale. Namaste.